is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening, everyone. One of Tasmania's major gas users, Bellamys Aluminium, says it's not afraid to switch to an alternative if gas contract negotiations continue to sour. Hydro Tasmania and Tasmanian Gas Pipeline are currently negotiating a new supply deal, but are yet to reach an agreement, which is causing uncertainty within the industry.
If a new deal isn't struck shortly, Labor says the ramifications for Tasmania will be dire.
Our major industrials need certainty when it comes to the price of gas. We know that they are facing increases around 95%. We know that this is going to have an impact on the way they operate, and we certainly don't want to see any job losses here in Tasmania.
Bellamys Aluminium today confirming it received a commercial offer yesterday from Tasmanian Gas Pipeline.
Our current contract finishes towards the end of August, so we don't have a lot of time left, but we're confident that we will be able to achieve a result that way.
But the company isn't too concerned, saying other options are available.
We're fortunate enough that we've got alternatives, and if it means that we have to switch to an alternative for a period of time until the arbitration process can be in place, then we'll consider that. But we'd like to think that we'll be able to negotiate something with the owner of the pipeline.
In an effort to ease industry angst today, the state government announced a specialist project manager has been advertised for to help increase business performance and boost the industry.
At the moment, Bellamys produces around 60% of Tasmania's manufactured exports, so it's absolutely critical for both the economy but also for jobs in northern Tasmania.
Of the fact that we do need a project manager to lead the way in developing the industrial area. We are excited about it, and we hope that the project officer has every success and he'll have our backing right the way through.
The officer will work 3 days a week under a 2-year contract, working with business owners to lock in bigger tenders and diversify into different markets.
Small to medium-sized manufacturing businesses, most of them are typically run by the owner, and the owner is busy running the business, not able to work on the business. You know, all of that sounds simple, but when you're flat out every day and you're doing 70, 80 hours a week, it's really hard to find the time to do that.
Jessica Moran, Southern Cross News.
The proposed high roller casino at Mona is again putting pressure on the state government to reveal if there will be changes to Tasmania's gaming monopoly. Federal Group's exclusive gaming deal is due to expire in 2023, with calls for the major parties to declare their hand before the next state election.
If anyone knows how to take risks, it's David Walsh.
7, 8, 9 you ignore. 10 and ace, -1. What you want is an excess of small cards gone.
Tasmania's best gambler again putting forward his proposed high roller casino, in addition to the Berrydale site relying on a change to the current Federal Group monopoly deed if it's to go ahead before 2023.
Ultimately, we'd like to see that get up, and we'd like to see some good social changes in around that gambling space at the moment.
Previously, David Walsh pulled the casino proposal out of fears it could extend the deed, the government indicating moves could be made to allow the dubbed anti-casino to go ahead, separate to the exclusive federal deal.
In terms of high roller casinos, we cannot give any green light until 2023.
An inquiry into gambling in Tasmania is due to release its findings in September, with both major parties hinging gambling policy upon its recommendations.
We'll consider the report and make a response, of course, to those recommendations.
The Labor Party will be responding to any recommendations that come out of the committee with a policy that we will take to the Tasmanian people.
But there's fears changes to the deed could be made following the next state election, triggering calls for the major parties to outline their position before Tasmanians go to the ballot box.
Both Liberal and Labor won't get away with going into this election not saying anything and not stating what they intend to do after the election. This is going to be a red-hot election issue.
They've done it twice before. They did it back in 1992, 93 and then again in 2002-03. It's not good enough. This time, Tasmanians need to be given a say on this deed.
Federal Group says it's in support of the Mona proposal. Jacqueline Robson, Southern Cross News.
Frustrated Tasmanians are stepping up their fight to see essential services return to the Mersey Community Hospital. But the government maintains the cuts were driven by medical experts.
Two groups joining forces to give frustrated Northwest residents a stronger voice.
The exciting news is we've just got not one group that the Minister has to deal with, but two very passionate groups.
The Tasmanian Patient Health Group and the Mersey Community Hospital Support Group standing together, saying enough is enough.
What we need is life-sustaining essential services. So when someone does front up and it is an emergency, that we've got the services here that are able to maintain and sustain them.
Jim Frankie says the Patient Health Group has received more than 30 letters from concerned residents. He says one woman suffering appendicitis had to wait almost 6 hours to be transferred from Latrobe to Burnie.
And then she got to the hospital and had to wait until the next day in the afternoon to have the operation. We're talking about a lady whose appendix was seriously in trouble. The waiting times depend on how long the ambulances take to get here, and sometimes that can be the matter between life and death.
But the state government has no plans to bring back any cut services. It says the changes were driven by clinicians, and with the hospital now back in its hands, it believes it has certainty for the next 10 years.
We've given this hospital more life and a very bright future, and the brightest future it's had for many, many decades, in fact.
We know that Minister Ferguson hasn't taken the concerns of patients or staff seriously, and we're seeing that impact right around the state, particularly at the Mersey.
A parliamentary inquiry will soon look into the state's acute care services. A forum for concerned Northwest residents will be held at the Devonport Soccer Club tonight.
We need to have real people telling real stories so we can attack the real problems.
Monika Dadson, Southern Cross News.
A Mount Stewart property owner has pleaded guilty to carrying out an unauthorised demolition. The destruction of the home and removal of a heritage-listed tree caused community outrage in February. Darko Krajinovic today pleaded guilty to undertaking development without a permit and performing demolition work without a valid permit. The Hobart City Council says it hopes the case serves as a warning. Mr Krajinovic will appear in the Hobart Magistrates Court for sentencing in September. A Wynyard man has pleaded not guilty to manslaughter over a crash that claimed the life of a Kingsmeadows father. It's alleged Dwayne Albert Cashman was driving a Ford Falcon at high speed on the Midland Highway near Perth in December when he collided with a silver wagon. Mr Cashman entered his plea in the Launceston Magistrates Court this morning. He also pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of causing grievous bodily harm. Mr Cashman was granted bail and will next appear in the Supreme Court in September. Thousands of fish are being released into waters across the state ahead of the opening of the brown trout season. Inland Fisheries is urging anglers to stick to the rules and be careful of water safety.
The Deputy Premier sealing this release with a kiss, as Inland Fisheries cast hundreds of brown trout and salmon into Craigbourne Dam. This is one of several locations being stocked with thousands of fish.
And fishing for trout's been a very important traditional family activity since 1864 in Tasmania. There are some 25,000 inland fisheries licences sold a year.
We've been restocking lakes over this winter and the ones that need it, and we're all ready to go for the August opening.
Most inland waters will open for fishing on the 5th of August, but Craigbourne Dam in the Coal River Valley is open to fishers year-round. Anglers already lining the shores today, eager to lure the first bite of the new release.
We try to get out here, a couple of times a year, but we just happen to be here at the right time today, so hopefully we can get on one of these fish and should make a trip worthwhile.
Authorities say people 14 years old and over must have a licence and stick to the rules so everyone gets a slice of the action.
When anglers buy their licence, they'll be given a code book, and they just need to have a good look through the code book and check out the bag limits and size limits for the individual waters that they're fishing at. So it does vary a bit, so check the rules before you go.
Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
Thousands are warming their vocal cords by the light of the annual Big Sing bonfire tonight as part of the Festival of Voices. Our reporter Jacqueline Robson joins us from Salamanca. Good evening, Jack. There's a new theme to tonight's community choir.
That's right, Joe. It's all about raising community spirits, and I'm sure you can see it beaming out from behind me. I'm joined by festival organiser Peter Huronjak. And Peter, tell me, what kind of songs are we singing tonight?
We're going to sing some very popular songs. If you like Prince, we're going to do Purple Rain. Of course, everyone knows about Hallelujah. We're going to do that one. We're doing a Bill Withers song at the end. We're doing Under Pressure, David Bowie, and a few others. It's going to be a big night, big program. You can see the split stage is pretty spectacular. We've upped the ante this year, and we expect everyone here to sing, and I'm sure they will.
I understand we have a special guest visitor tonight.
Tony Childs will be joining us, and she'll be singing 3 songs. One of them will be a Coldplay song, which I think everyone will know that one. So it's going to be awesome. I encourage you to look at or to listen to the choir from China, from Hong Kong. They are amazing.
And I understand there's a few events going on over coming days. Can you explain what we can expect?
Tonight we kick off the Voice Box, which is in the City Hall. It's a cabaret pop-up in the City Hall. Waranta is an Indigenous theme tonight, and then there'll be a cabaret night, there'll be a jazz night, and there's a late night band every night which kicks off from about 10:30 and plays to the wee small hours. So for only $10 to get in for that one, it's going to be a good late night club.
Thanks for that, Peter. So there you have it, Joe. We can expect around 5,000 voices to light up the night.
We certainly can. Thank you so much for that, Jack. Well, Tasmania's Aboriginal history is the focus of the latest exhibition to open at the Queen Victoria Museum. The first Tasmanians, Our Story, is 3 years in the making and includes rarely seen objects such as a shell necklace and basketry from Tasmania's last surviving full-blooded Aboriginal. The design of the exhibition aiming to take visitors back in time to see how shelters were constructed and how food was gathered.
Our families lived here through 2 ice ages, how we lived as family groups, and tells positive stories about how we use the land, manage the land, right through to today and who we are today.
We're telling a story of at least 40,000 years of occupation of this island, and too often perhaps the contact history overshadows that story, yet it's a remarkable story of arrival, adaptation, survival, and just really adapting to an environment that was very different from what it was like on the mainland.
The exhibition is open to the public from tomorrow. If you're a sweet tooth, you have just 1 month to wait before La Trobe's 13th annual Chocolate Winterfest, launched today on World Chocolate Day. The festival on August 13 will feature 37 events, including a Kit Kat Chunky Tower Challenge.
The standout events would be our traditional high tea, so it's something that everyone loves to enjoy and experience here at Amber's, and we get a good response from that.
The Winterfest will also be a boost for the community that was this time last year battling floods.
And it's a chance not only for us to celebrate chocolate and all things chocolate, but also to reflect a little bit on the past 12 months and to be grateful for where we're at compared to where we were 12, 14 months ago.
Events are expected to sell out, so chocolate lovers are encouraged to book early. The iconic Launceston Birchall's train is off to a new and currently anonymous owner after it was auctioned off this afternoon. The new owner taking it home for the cool price of $9,000, but told Southern Cross News the train is destined to remain on public display locally.
$9,000 for the first time, $9,000 for the second time. You're all done, you're all quiet at $9,000. Going, gone. Thank you very much.
We've had lots of people say they remember it from their childhood and coming into town and running around the shop. So yeah, I think, and the vendor's very happy with it as well. So yep, we're happy.
A range of other items from the Birchall store also went under the hammer today, including cabinetry, displays and office equipment. Embattled Tasmanian company Bellamys is again in a trading halt after Chinese authorities deregistered its new processing plant in Victoria. The infant formula company bought the $30 million Camperdown facility in June to meet regulations. But late last night, its licence was revoked. There are fears Bellamys will be unable to restore the licence before the December 31 deadline.
The Chinese market is obviously very, very important for Bellamys. It makes up about 16% of their total production, but it is obviously a growth area, and if this part of their market is taken away from them, it's going to severely impact the company.
A recent company board restructure saw share prices increase, but the latest development is expected to see those prices tumble when the trading halt ends on Tuesday. Let's take a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The Australian share market has closed lower, erasing its gains for the week as investors worried that central banks are about to wind back economic stimulus measures. The ASX 200 index has dropped by 55.2 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 75.94 US cents and 104.28 New Zealand cents.
GWS have brushed aside suggestions of an injury crisis at the club as they prepare to put an end to the Hawks' recent winning ways. Players from both sides greeted fans at UTAS Stadium after touching down in the state this afternoon.
Yeah, the Hawks are in really good form. They obviously had a really good win last week against Collingwood. And their form up until then's been really good. So the win over in Adelaide as well, a couple of weeks before that, was really impressive. So, and particularly playing them in Tasmania down here, they're obviously hard to beat.
Yeah, it'll be a big challenge for us. Top of the table, but we are coming down here and we've got good form down here. So you never know.
The match begins at 1:45 tomorrow afternoon. It's the business end of what's been one of the most even TSL seasons in recent times. Glenorchy is slowly edging their way back into the premiership discussion, but like Lauderdale, Launceston and Hobart City, each win is crucial from here on out.
A change of scenery for the Bombers this Sunday, taking on Devonport at Invermay Park. Star midfielder Jay Lockhart is out for a few weeks with injury, but it should do little to shake the side's confidence after a week off.
Losses the other week probably held us in good stead, really. Showed us where we're at individually and as a group. So last few weeks have been good with a couple of wins, freshened up, and I think we really attacked this back half of the year really strong.
Following a severe concentration lapse during their thrashing at the hands of the Roos, Pies coach Mitch Thorpe has assured it won't be happening again.
The last 6 weeks have been pretty good. Last week was a bit of a downer, so we're looking to bounce back. It's on a small ground, be nice and tight, so hopefully we can put enough pressure on around the ball to help our defenders out.
Locked in a four-way battle for third spot, it's crunch time tomorrow for Lauderdale and Hobart City at North Hobart Oval.
And we've just got to keep winning, and we've put ourselves in a position now where we're quite healthy, and this week against Hobart City can really separate us from a few teams. So, yeah, we need to win.
We're not too caught up in other results or what's going on or percentages or anything like that. You take care of your own sort of destiny, so to speak, by continuing to win games of footy, and that's just what we have to do.
While Glenorchy take on cellar dwellers Burnie, bolstered by the return of former Hawk Zach Webster. Pies premiership star Ben Reynolds has been named in the half-forward line, despite these claims from Cornelius just yesterday.
Playing for Glenorchy certainly is on the cards. At no stage have we really spoken to him about playing senior TSL footy because he has retired.
The opening bounce is at 1 p.m. tomorrow at KG5.
It's only happened a couple of times in Tasmanian football history. Not two, but three brothers lining up together in the same team. This weekend, Lauderdale joins that exclusive list with Josh, Ben and Matt McGinnis set to combine across the half-back line.
If you notice a couple of rowdy parents on the sidelines at North Hobart Oval tomorrow, chances are it's the McGinnises.
I was pretty excited. I think all the family is pretty excited. I think they're all going to be down here to watch it, so it's a big achievement for the McGinnis family.
21-year-old Josh and 19-year-old Ben have already established themselves in the Bombers' backline, but tomorrow 16-year-old brother Matt steps out for his first senior game, making it McGinnis across the half-back line.
Pretty excited, but also pretty nervous.
should be good playing with the two brothers. It never happened before, so yeah, I'm very excited.
It's the first time coach Darren Winter can remember it happening at the club, and it was almost set to be an even rarer occasion.
We got 3 Hills in the team as well, but one got suspended on the weekend, so we were pretty keen at some stage it was going to be Hill, and the 3 McGinnis boys across the half-back lines.
The boys only found out last night, so the older two haven't had much of a chance to pass on their wisdom to young Matt.
Oh, they haven't given me much, really.
But the older brothers say they'll definitely be watching out for him.
It'll be pretty cool to play together, and we always, it doesn't matter who it is, we always look after each other, but it is a little bit extra special, I guess, to have a couple of brothers in the team as well.
That's not to say there won't be a healthy bit of sibling rivalry.
I guess it's better when you're getting the best players and the other brother doesn't, or you play better than him and you can brag about it at home. Hopefully there might be a little passage of play where all 3 of us are involved.
Well, they're the new NPL title favourites after winning their last 8 games in a row, and South Hobart will be looking to cement a top spot on the league ladder when they take on Olympia at Darcy Street on Sunday.
It was 6-2 last game we played, but you'd be a fool to say it's going to be the same result. Olympia is still going to come out firing, and I expect that.
The Warriors sit 7 points back from South, and a loss this weekend will spell the end of the side's title hopes.
You know, irrelevant of what the table says, it's an opportunity to improve in all elements of what we're doing at the moment.
In the weekend's other matchups, Kingborough take on the Zebras at Lightwood Park, Launceston City do battle with the Strikers, while Clarence travel north to face the Rangers. To basketball, and the Northwest Thunder will be playing to keep their finals hopes alive this weekend, starting with a win over Albury-Wodonga away from home tonight, before travelling to Kilsyth tomorrow to take on Seabull powerhouse, the Cobras.
Good run in June, and we've put ourselves in a position where we could possibly challenge for the top 4, so it's just week by week at the moment.
The Thunder are currently sitting just 1 win out of that top 4 spot on the South Conference ladder. Meantime, Launceston Tornado star Lauren Mansfield is set to make her Australian Opals debut after being named in the squad to compete at the FIBA Asia Cup in India starting on July 23. Mansfield recently returned from the Opals training camp in the US.
Good evening. Well, of course, it's AFL Pink Round at UTAS Stadium, Launceston tomorrow. The Hawks versus the Giants, with all the fundraising proceeds heading for Cancer Council Tasmania. Let's hope you can support the cause. Hobart and Devonport, 11 degrees today. Launceston and Burnie reaching a top of 10. Temperatures range from -5 at Lyawini to our top today of 14 at Eddystone Point. King Island found the rain, 14 mils falling on the island today. St Helens, Friendly Beaches and the Bass Strait Islands, all 13 degrees. Grove 12, Campania and Strawn 11, Wynyard 10 and Lowhead 9 degrees. Now the cloud over our region produced some thunderstorms through Bass Strait. There is a band of cloud which is extending from Adelaide over the Southern Ocean, extensive low clouds south of Western Australia. Another band with rain and thunder stretches from Queensland to the Territory. Low-level cloud over most of the state today. Some higher-level wispy cloud also drifted by. Tomorrow, a weak low and series of troughs moves just to our west. A high-pressure ridge through southern Australia connects 2 high-pressure cells. A trough extends over Queensland. Winds west to northwesterly reaching 20 knots over the north, and south swells at 2.5 metres in western and southern waters. Saturday will be partly cloudy in Hobart, a top of 13 degrees, 11 the high for Maydena with a possible shower, -1 for Oatlands, a morning frost and 10 the top. Launceston, morning fog clearing, top of 12 and sunny conditions for the footy, 12 degrees for Devonport and a possible shower, Lyawini -2 and a top of 7 tomorrow. Burnie can expect a shower or 2, 12 the top, a shower also for Strawn and Marrawar with 12 degrees. And for eastern regions, partly cloudy, bit of sun about as well, 14 for St Helens and Swansea, Alford a partly cloudy 13. Here's the forecast for Sunday. Showers over the state, increasing over the west later. Snow to 600 metres on Monday, fine apart from a shower over the west, south and north coasts. A very cold start to Tuesday with widespread frost, a fine day with light winds to follow. Showers for Adelaide and Melbourne tomorrow and possible rain for Alice Springs. Partly cloudy for the other centres, apart from plenty of sunshine for Sydney and Brisbane. Clear conditions in Hobart, 6 degrees at the moment, cloudy and 7 in Launceston, Devonport partly cloudy and 5 degrees. And Joe, I think this sort of colour scheme might catch on. It's probably the most fashionable colours I've ever worn together.
You look beautiful, Mayor. Thank you so much. That's all from the team for now. We'll see you a bit later with updates. Bye-bye.